All right, let's start from the beginning. What are you doing here?
I didn't break in, damn it. This cabin's for sale.
And you want to buy this shack?
Yes, the shack, the swamp, and the steamer, along with the alligators, and they promised me the wandering spirits floating above the water as a bonus.
Who? Who promised?
Prescott, Crosby, and Moreau, from New Orleans.
The owners?
Agents. I have an appointment here.
With which one?
Neither. His name's Turner. He's an employee.
This doesn't add up. I don't believe you're gonna look around the area in the dark.
I've already looked around. He was gonna take me back to town.
When?
He's late.
Right. Maybe you are a writer, because it all sounds like some fiction to me.
Ask the sheriff. I talked to him this morning.
The sheriff hasn't seen any visitors in town today. And you are a visitor, aren't you?
You're bluffing. I did visit him, and I left the transaction papers in the car not far from his office.
We'll check it.
If you don't let me go now, you'll have to apologize to me.
Stop fooling yourself.
I left my notebook there in the kitchen. I hope I can take it.
Is it so precious?
My notes are in it. I use them for work. So, can I?
Tell me, what does this Turner look like?
Not very distinctive. Bald. Quite tall. An intriguing look, but calm. 40-ish. Intelligent.
How long have you been in touch?
Well, I don't know. Maybe a month?
I'm gonna check that Turner. You'd better be telling the truth.
I've been dreaming of finding such a lovely place in the wilderness. Far away from people. Writing books in peace and quiet. Is it a crime to have such plans?
Wait here patiently.
I'm not going anywhere.
Right now, I've got nothing to discuss.
Nicole speaking.
Where are you? I can't see you, and I guess you can't get lost in this town.
Probably because I'm not there. I'm near a cabin in the wetlands, close to the steamer.
You should have waited for me.
Take the sheriff and come to get me. My boat's out of fuel.
Was it worth going there?
I found one landscape amateur here. He says he's going to buy these grounds.
What's his name?
Arthur Blake.
If I remember correctly, there was no Blake on the jury.
That's right.
So you think he's the murderer? Are you in control of the situation?
Yeah, I cuffed him to a railing, but he doesn't look like our guy. He'd have to be a really great actor.
Almost every serial killer is a psychopath and manipulator. He'll trick you into bringing him the rope he'll then use to tie you up.
Has it happened to you?
What?
Nothing. Check Arthur Blake for me. He says he's a writer, 40 years old, blonde graying hair, dainty, less than 6 feet tall, oval face, glasses, lives in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
All right, I'll call you back. We'll be there soon. Take care of yourself.
Oh, by the way, he claims he talked to the sheriff in the morning.
He's lying. Be on your guard.
Relax. See you.
Bye.
Hi, Ruth.
How's the South? Warm?
Drizzling, but charming. Are you still at work?
Yes, I told you I needed to deal with some papers.
I have no access to the net. Can you check something for me?
It will be a pleasure to leave those charts for a minute.
Could you check Prescott, Crosby, and Moreau office from New Orleans? And a certain Turner who works for them.
Turner. Prescott, Crosby, and Moreau from New Orleans. All right, I'll call you back in a while.
Thanks.
The fuel's run out. There's no way to get back to town. there's no such office in Louisiana.
It's Dick. There is such an author. He writes fantasy books. He's achieved quite a success recently. Won some kind of award.
Have you seen his picture?
Yeah, matches your description.
But why did he lie about seeing the sheriff in the morning?
He didn't. The sheriff regained his memory and confirmed it.
That's weird.
Yeah, the sheriff isn't frank with us. He mentioned the plot with the cabin in passing.
Blake wants to buy it.
Smacks of a swindle.
That's right. The office that was supposed to be selling the plot doesn't exist.
What's going on here?
The writer has an appointment with their representative, a certain Turner.
This reminds me of something.
A trap?
Yeah, the cardman usually lures his victims with a real bargain.
An artist's dream come true. A swamp retreat for a song?
Maybe. And there's one more thing.
Yes?
An abandoned car from New Orleans was found.
What's so strange about it?
Well, the insurance was paid by the car rental at the airport.
It's Blake's car.
No, his car's in the town.
So whose is it?
The car rental's closed, but I've sent some officers to the manager.
Let's sum it up. The cardman might have set a trap for Blake, but Blake isn't one of the potential victims we've singled out. I need to talk to him. One way or another, he has to be protected.
I'll take the sheriff, and we're coming for you. Maybe I'll manage to get something out of him.
Hurry up. I think the cardman has a slight edge over us.
We're leaving soon.
Did you hear my conversation?
Me? No.
You sure did, but not all of it.
I was working.
On your handcuffs?
No, on the imprisonment scene.
I don't get it.
The protagonist of my new novel, a lonely wanderer, is imprisoned in the swamps.
Imprisoned?
By an Amazon, a bounty hunter.
And why is that? Has he been naughty?
No, he just looks like somebody who kidnapped the king's child. But it doesn't matter to her. She only cares about the prize she's going to get after delivering the prisoner to the king's butchers.
Not a very complicated character.
The Amazon? Complicated enough. She's only a tool I use to get the protagonist into trouble.
And if the Amazon's doing it to protect him?
From what?
From the real evil. A murderer who's lurking in the swamps, killing lonely wanderers.
Why would she hold him captive? But the idea is quite good. It just needs some polishing up. I got it!
Yes?
She wants to take advantage of him. She's not protecting him. She's going to use him as bait.
And if all of it happened for real?
Well, it did in a way. You arrested me. We only need to put on costumes, light the fires, add coyote howling in the distance, and forget about cell phones.
How would you feel if I really was using you as bait? Because there is a murderer lurking here.
You can't be serious.
I am.
Wait a second. What is this about?
About a series of crimes. The perpetrator lures his victims into traps, usually in remote places, and deprives them of their lives in fancy ways.
What for?
For profit.
Are the victims rich?
Some are, but it's not about the money. What would you say it's about, Mr. Writer?
Revenge? Lust for murder? Satisfaction?
In any case, the profits aren't material.
What are you trying to tell me? That somebody's hunting me? It doesn't make sense.
It's just your point of view.
Should I be scared? Well, who's the murderer?
And if my theory makes sense, it can only be Turner.
You're funny. I can't imagine this well-mannered lawyer hiding here in the bushes. You've let your imagination run wild.
And doesn't all this stimulate yours? You're a writer, aren't you?
So maybe you'll uncuff me now? Or do you still want to use me as bait?
Okay, but you have to follow my instructions for your own good until we leave this place.
Okay, within reason.
Do you feel better?
Sure. Why did you decide I'm not a suspect?
Your personal details are fine, and Turner's aren't.
They aren't? So maybe I invented him.
That would be a mistake.
On your part? What do you mean his personal details aren't fine?
The office at which Turner allegedly works doesn't exist.
What do you mean? What about the letters I got from them? Besides, this is where I met Turner today.
At the office?
In front of it. Turner invited me to one of those charming old-fashioned restaurants.
A hackneyed trick used in many variations.
What about the company paper, the address? Besides, there was a plaque with the company logo on the wall.
He might have rented a room in that office building. I guarantee we won't find a trace there. But we need to check the address anyway.
It was, 212 St. Jerome Street.
What gave you the idea to buy land here? It's too far to come here for the weekend.
It's not about weekends. I want to move here.
And your family?
I don't have a family. An artist should be free.
So, you want to hole up in this cabin? You can spend a nice day here, but live in this place?
You don't need a lot of money to live here, and I can afford to buy the steamer for my royalties.
Are you going to repair the steamer?
Imagine it sailing along the Mississippi. Awesome. Well, you don't have to imagine that. I'll invite you for the cruise.
Thank you. I hope you succeed.
Of course I will. I will invite my friends and enemies, publishers, agents, critics that depreciate my books, artists, photographers, beautiful women. I'll get a Dixieland Jazz Orchestra whose music will echo in New Orleans.
Well, I know somebody who presented the same vision.
Really? And I thought I was so original.
It was Aaron, the man on the wharf.
The black guy?
The African American.
The tramp. He said I was gonna have a ball on the steamer?
No, that he was. He'd invite the spirits of the dead and wouldn't give the steamer to anybody.
Really? Well, what is he up to?
You tell me.
He was raving.
Actually, he did look psychotic. Maybe he was under the influence of hallucinogens.
I wouldn't exaggerate. Maybe he had a bad day. The sheriff said he's a good man.
Good? What do you mean?
Blended in the community.
And your deal? What do you think about it now?
Well, you've stirred things up. Tomorrow I'll go to New Orleans. You'd better talk to Turner himself. I think you're wrong about him.
How did you find Turner?
He found me. He read the interview I gave. He knew my last book. He said that when he was reading it, this area came to his mind. There's something in it. This is an amazing place, after all, don't you think?
Do all of your books take place in such settings?
Well, I like it.
Do you have anything signed by Turner, or maybe his picture?
I don't think so.
I have no idea how long we're going to have to wait for my partner and the sheriff. Let's hide inside.
But there's no electricity there. And if I remember correctly, when you were incapacitating me, the remains of the kerosene spilled on the floor.
I'll figure something out, but don't leave this place, or I'll have to cuff you again.
All right, all right.
Excuse me a while.
Sure.
It's pitch black. As usual, different things are stacked around. This old deck chair could fall apart if I sat down on it. The boat hook was dumped in the corner. I guess it wasn't used very often.